In 2010, South Africa made history, the first ever FIFA World Cup held on African soil, a moment of pride for a continent often overlooked on the global stage, a time of hope, unity, and celebration, but also a time of deception, exploitation, and corruption. This is the story of how Africa's pride became FIFA's gain, and trust us, this video is just the tip of the iceberg. It was a dream come true. In 2004, South Africa won the bid to host the 2010 FIFA World Cup, beating Morocco and Egypt. Nelson Mandela himself stood before the world and declared that Africa's time had come. For South Africans, it was more than just a football tournament, it was a chance to showcase their resilience, culture, and pride on the global stage. But dreams often come at a price. South Africa's victory wasn't just about heart and vision. Behind the scenes, FIFA's machinery of corruption was hard at work. Deals were made in back rooms, votes were secured not through inspiration, but through financial and political incentives. Years later, investigators uncovered evidence of bribes paid to secure South Africa's bid. A $10 million payment, allegedly disguised as a development fund, was funneled to secure votes from key officials. Jack Warner, a controversial FIFA figure, and Chuck Blazer, the man who would later become a whistleblower, were central to these schemes. These revelations tarnished what was supposed to be Africa's shining moment. But at the time, the public saw only the celebration, and none of the corruption. South Africa invested heavily to host the world's biggest sporting event. Over $3 billion was spent on new stadiums, infrastructure, and event preparation. FIFA promised it would all be worth it. Job creation, economic growth, and global recognition. But not everyone reaped the rewards. Entire communities were displaced to make way for construction projects. Families were relocated with little compensation, their lives uprooted for the sake of football's biggest spectacle. Promises of affordable housing and new opportunities for locals often fell flat, with many projects abandoned once the tournament ended. And then there were the stadiums. Gleaming monuments to the World Cup, they became costly burdens after the final match. Maintenance costs soared while events to fill the venues dwindled. Critics called them white elephants, symbols of short-term thinking that left taxpayers footing the bill long after the celebrations had ended. Local entrepreneurs who hoped to benefit from the influx of tourists found themselves locked out by FIFA's exclusive vendor agreements. Street vendors and small shops were pushed aside to make room for global corporate sponsors, leaving many South Africans feeling excluded from the very event meant to uplift them. South Africa invested heavily to host the world's biggest sporting event. Over $3 billion were spent on new stadiums, infrastructure, and event preparation. FIFA and the South African government promised it would all be worth it. In the end, South Africa's taxpayers footed the bill, while FIFA walked away with billions in tax-free revenue. Speaking of FIFA, let's talk numbers. The organization earned a staggering $3.6 billion from the 2010 World Cup, thanks to broadcasting rights, sponsorships, and ticket sales. Their profit? $631 million. FIFA's ability to generate such enormous revenue came down to one key factor: control. FIFA tightly controls broadcasting rights, sponsorship deals, and licensing agreements. These contracts ensure that while the host company handles the expenses, FIFA collects the lion's share of the profits. For the 2010 World Cup, FIFA partnered with global giants like Coca-Cola, Adidas, and Visa, locking out local South African businesses from significant opportunities. And how much did FIFA invest in South Africa? Practically nothing. As a non-profit, FIFA demanded tax exemptions from the South African government, ensuring every dollar went straight into their pockets. By the end of the tournament, FIFA's balance sheet swelled, while South Africa struggled with a long-term financial burden of hosting. The irony is that FIFA operates as a non-profit organization, yet their financial model is anything but altruistic. FIFA reaps all the rewards. It's a system designed for profit under the guise of global goodwill. For FIFA's executives, the World Cup was a cash cow. For South Africa, it was a financial gamble that left many wondering if the dream was worth the cost. The corruption wasn't limited to the bid. Jack Warner, a key figure in FIFA's executive committee, was accused of pocketing millions meant for development projects. Some funds that were intended to help grassroots football programs mysteriously vanished, lining the pockets of officials instead. Chuck Blazer, the infamous FIFA rat, later admitted to participating in bribe schemes not just for the 2010 World Cup, but for decades of FIFA tournaments. What's striking about Warner and Blazer's actions is how brazen they were. They exploited FIFA's opaque financial system to enrich themselves, all while presenting a clean public image of promoting the game globally. But let's not forget the magic. The 2010 World Cup gave us unforgettable moments. Ghana's heroic run to the quarterfinals, to Pifwe Shabalala's stunning opening goal, and the sound of vuvuzelas filling the air. For many, the tournament was more than just football. It was a statement, a chance for Africa to shine on the global stage. But even this powerful symbolism was overshadowed by FIFA's greed. After the final whistle blew, South Africa faced a harsh reality. The promised economic boom never came. Stadiums became expensive burdens, and many South Africans felt their sacrifices had been in vain. The truth about FIFA's dealings came to light in 2015 when U.S. authorities indicted several officials on charges of racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering. The 2010 World Cup was a key chapter in this saga. Despite the scandals, FIFA's operations have continued largely unchanged. Future hosts like Brazil and Qatar face similar challenges, proving that the cycle of exploitation persists. The 2010 World Cup was a bittersweet moment, a triumph of African pride tainted by FIFA's corruption. It showed the world the beauty of football, but also the darker side of the organization that controls it. What do you think? Was the 2010 World Cup worth it for South Africa? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll dive into the protests and controversies surrounding the World Cup in Brazil. Thank you for watching. Together, we can uncover the truth behind the beautiful game.